Hey, friends, welcome to the show. It's me, Curtis. I'm wearing a New York Yankees jersey. Not that I don't like the Yankees, I don't dislike or love them. I mean, when I lived in New York, I loved going to Yankee Stadium. In fact, well, the reason I'm wearing this jersey is because by the time you see this, Lisa and I will be back from a trip to New York. Don't know if I'm going to get a chance to watch a Yankee game, but however, if I do, I will check it out. I'm definitely going up to High Point to the Roosevelt Museum, Presidential Museum. Today it shows a little dip to the past. I'm going to start it off with Mama. Found this beautiful videos of my mom making pastry dough. We're going to end the show with banana pudding. And between the two, there's going to be an interview with KGO. They do a story on why I got into television back in the day. The George and Alana show down in Los Angeles, an interview that took place in New Orleans, and then we're going to wrap up with Mama Banana Pudding. I love you, Laura Bell Aikens, up there. Just know, I look at these videos and it brings beautiful memories. Anyway, I hope you love today's show. Peace, spread love.
For Mama's pastry dough, ingredients are 1 1/2 cup flour, 1/2 cup shortening, 1/2 cup cold water. If you're wondering who this beautiful woman to my left is, this is my mom. I learned everything I know about cooking from her, and I wanted her to share a special recipe with you. Mom, tell them what it is.
My pastry dough, Curtis.
All right.
Thank you.
Sure.
First, I use flour, shortening, and cold water, ice water. I like ice water for my pastry. And just mix it all up real good. And pastry is real good if you make it one day and use it for the next day. Me, for instance, I always make mine up. If I'm going to have a pie on Sunday, I make my pies on Saturday.
You make your
So
dough
I
on
make
Saturday?
my dough on Friday
Oh, okay.
and use it on Saturday. The main thing to making a good pastry is always knead your dough. Knead it. I'm just going to So what we want to do, we want to mix it real good and knead it. Now, if you're going to make 2 pies, I suggest you double your recipe because this recipe only calls for 1 pie. Maybe you're going to make an apple pie and you want to make a top to go on your apple pie. But this is fine for a potato custard, a pecan pie, something like that. But if you're going to make an apple pie, make sure you double your recipe. This is how it looks when you finish it.
You got it all kneaded up. Good job.
Yes.
Okay. Now here we've got it rolled out so Mom can make a pie shell for us. I'm going to use this pie shell quite a bit in this today here. Oh, that's looking really pretty, Mom. Need a knife?
Yes.
You grab a little knife here for you. You can cut the edges there. That looks so good, Mom. Now, I do a little twist to Mama's pastry dough. When I want to make an extra sweet pie, I'll take about a 1/2 cup of sugar and add to that. After she has it kneaded up, then I'll add that sugar just kneaded in. There's Mama's pastry dough. This is also great to make turnovers or tarts or other things. I've watched my mother make this pie all my life, and every time she makes it, I'm the first guy in the kitchen to get one of those finished pies.
Pizza, it's good for pizza.
Yeah?
We can also use this, my pie crust
For pizza?
pizza.
Looks good, Mom. Is it okay if I use your pie shell in the rest of the video?
Yes.
You sure? All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
Mama. Mom will be
Anytime.
back later on to make another dish for us. Folks, we got some beautiful melons, okay?
Curtis Aikens is a produce expert turned TV personality. He's the garden grocer on ABC TV's Home Show. Today, Aikens is at home in Nevada with his family, which includes 6-week-old Curtis Jr.
Looks pretty good.
He's cooking up a recipe that he'll share on national television with his fans. Aikens' painful past recently caught up with him while he was co-hosting the Home Show with Sarah Purcell. Before millions of viewers, he stumbled on a word on live television.
Attach this decoder to your cable box or VCR and tune it to your favorite primetime programs. The national this is one of the tough things about reading is
You're doing a good job.
The National, help me, that
Captioning?
word. Captioning Institute has found that by hearing and seeing words, how much...
You're doing great. Oh, Curtis, you're doing wonderfully well. Do you want me to finish it for you?
Please.
Okay.
Aikens had had a flashback.
He said later that it just transported him back in a flash to all of those times when he couldn't read and he was stuck somewhere as a kid. And he said it just flooded over him, and he lost it.
Aikens only learned to read several years ago at the age of 26. He was still haunted by the shame of it.
Here I was on national television, and I felt like I had totally embarrassed myself. The literacy people, the people who had taught me to read, I thought, oh no, I've let all these millions of folks down.
Aikens was among the 27 million Americans who are illiterate, meaning they can't read a newspaper, fill out a job application, or read a bus schedule. Aikens bluffed his way through school, scribbling illegible answers so teachers would be forced to ask him questions verbally.
By the time we'd answered 3 or 4 questions, they, oh, you know the information, and I got a passing grade. And that happened right on in through high school into college.
Aikens says hiding his secret was a daily battle. He finally lost his business because of his inability to read, and like most illiterate adults, he was too ashamed and embarrassed to ask for help.
I always thought I was the only one. Then I saw a TV spot like this one and realized I could learn.
The turning point came one night while Aikens was watching television. He heard a public service message much like the one he's taping today. Aikens met Jenny Hartman, a volunteer tutor with the Marin Literacy Project.
I mean, here was a man who was basically a owner of a company writing out checks for people, and not even knowing what his produce forms and things were. So I think it took a lot of courage for him to admit to someone that he couldn't read.
Aikens spent 7 months making sense out of a lifetime puzzle.
It is like being in a totally dark room. It's like being in a totally pitch black room and someone turns the light on.
Aikens has since authored his own produce book. Half of the proceeds go toward literacy projects. And when he's not writing, he's reading.
I love to read. I read to little Curtis every night.
I'm Don Sanchez for ABC News.
Curtis Aikens going to help us cook. And Keith David, dead president, stay with us. We're going to have some fun today. Yes? Our next guest mixes a little down-home cooking with a lot of health-conscious flair. Please welcome the author, Curtis Cooks with Heart and Soul, Curtis Aikens.
Hey, Curtis.
Curtis. Now, Curtis, who is or was the biggest influence in your life in cooking?
Well, when it comes to my life and in cooking is my mama.
Your mother?
Yeah, she's
Now,
a
what's her
sweetheart.
name?
Mom's name is Laura Bell. Laura Bell Aikens.
Now, if we just said the magic word, Laura Bell, are you there?
There she is.
Yes, I'm here.
We've got her on the
Who's
phone.
that? Who's
Hey,
that?
Laura Bell, it's your mom.
Mama, what's up? Hey, Mom.
Alana and Curtis.
How are
Bye,
you?
Laura, but you going to help him cook this pecan pie?
I sure will.
Great, okay.
Now, Laura Bell,
This is a first.
the kind of pecan pie I grew up on was with that very heavy-duty Karo syrup, right?
Yep, that's
now, and it was not always the greatest thing for you. I sure loved it. Has he done anything different than you do it?
Mom.
I think so. I think Curtis does his a little different from mine. Everybody say I have a little secret that he doesn't have in his.
What's the secret, baby?
Yeah, what's the secret?
I tried to get him to do things just like I do.
What's the secret, baby? Well, what
I
do you
think my secret is that pinch of salt.
pinch of salt? Well, I got a pinch of salt.
You
I
got a
stole
pinch
that
of
from.
salt?
Well, why don't we make it? While, and
Yeah.
we'll tell
Yeah,
Mama
you
what
go
we
ahead and
got.
make it.
Let's
All right,
get
so
started.
listen.
You listen, Mama.
Mom, this is my pecan pie. So it's a little different than yours. I've got 4 eggs. Okay, we're gonna drop those in. Alana, you gotta help me here.
Okay, what do you want me to do?
I've got a sugar there. I've got a 1.5 cups of sugar.
Okay.
We're gonna add the sugar. Well, 1 cup of sugar. Gonna whisk that in. Now, George is talking about Karo syrup. Mama, I use that light syrup.
Is this
I
it?
use dark.
She uses dark.
All right, there's the first difference. Okay.
There's one
I
difference.
use 3 eggs and he used 4.
How many
Okay.
eggs you use, baby? How many eggs?
I use 3 eggs.
He is 3,
Okay,
you use 4.
I use
Yeah.
4. Let's add the melted butter.
A little bit, we're going to have the melted butter.
The melted
Laura
butter
Bell,
was-
where do you live?
I live in Conyers, Georgia.
Where's
In
that?
Georgia.
Where's
in
that?
Rockdale County. That's
Rock-
in Georgia.
All right, Mom, I'm going to show him a pinch of salt here. We've got salt. George,
Yeah.
Alana, a pinch
Do
of
you
salt.
have a picture of me, Curtis?
Yeah, we do. Let me cook, okay, baby? Just chill out. Let me cook, all right? All right. Now, a pinch of salt. This is a pinch of salt. Just a pinch.
Just a
It's
pinch.
right in there.
Okay.
I'm going to whisk that up. Now, George, it's time for you to get to work, buddy.
Okay.
Right here, we've got a cup of pecan halves, or you can use a cup and a half. I like to add more than Mom does.
Okay.
I'm
Mom, we're
trying
going to put in...
I use a cup.
She used a cup.
Okay, we're putting
No,
it
no,
in.
no, 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 no,
no.
They go in the
Oh,
pasta.
they go in here.
There we go.
Yeah,
I don't know. Mom, I almost made a big mistake.
Now, Alana, you
Okay.
make George pour the egg on what do you want him to pour the egg?
On the pecans
There you
in
go.
the pie,
Pour
right?
the egg mixture right in the pecan pie there.
This is really simple to make,
This
isn't
is
it?
so easy.
Have you mixed it all together, Curtis?
We mixed it well, Mom. I promise, okay?
Okay.
He mixed it, Mom. I was watching him.
George, Alana, why did you get me to this? My mother never allows people in the kitchen when she's cooking except me.
Okay.
And now you brought her in my kitchen when I'm trying to make a pie.
Your mother would be the best person to have in your kitchen. I have a funny
Now,
feeling.
what we want to do is preheat that oven about 375, right, Mom?
Yeah.
375.
I always
Bake this.
cook mine 350 now.
Mama has a hot oven, okay? Her oven really starts to burn.
Okay.
But mine, I
375.
have to cook mine
Mama,
slow.
shh. Let me tell everyone at home how to cook this
Okay.
recipe because we want to sell some cookbooks, right, Alana?
Right, right.
Mom. Okay,
Yes.
so what we want to do here, 375 in the oven until that custard sets, okay?
Right.
About 35 to 40 minutes. Now, you take it out, and if it's still a little wobbly, bake it a little longer, okay?
Until it sets, until it's firm.
Exactly, so it's nice and firm. And we have one that's nice and firm.
This is so
There we
beautiful.
go. Isn't that
Laura
gorgeous?
Bell, you should see this. It's
This
beautiful.
is so beautiful. Now,
beautiful.
Curtis, let me ask you one thing.
Fire
Can
away.
you substitute other nuts if you don't want pecans
Now,
for whatever reason?
Mom may not agree with this at all, Alana, but now I love Hawaii. So if you're ever in Hawaii, or you can find this at a local grocery store, macadamia nuts. It's exact
Ooh,
same.
that would
Yes.
be great,
Oh,
wouldn't it?
I put a
Wonderful
little-
recipe.
Ma-
to make
ma-
macadamia nut pie.
Laura Bell, I'm putting just a little vanilla ice cream. Would that be all right for you?
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
Sounds
It's a little
good?
on the feminine
Okay.
side, but it's okay.
You can also substitute, Mom, I'm still trying to, we want all of America to make this pie after buying the book, you know, a couple of times
Oh,
at least.
yeah.
All right, so we can have almonds. If you live in California, almonds are plentiful out here. Down home, of course, use the pecans. Walnuts are great. Now, here's one I don't think I might use either, Alana.
Ooh, I don't think pistachio
Yeah,
pie?
I figured I'd
Ew.
just have those just to show you not to use pistachios.
Now, your book is so great. I've been
you.
looking through it, and I love it because it's all the down-home cooking that I love. I'm from Texas, Laura Bell.
Oh,
What do you
you
think?
are?
I'm from Texas, and I love all the down-home cooking, but Curtis does it with a healthy
Yes.
Would you like
slant
to
on
try
it, which
this,
is
Alana?
great.
We
Yes,
try-
I would.
We try. You
Now,
are
when-
so bad.
No, I want to try it without the ice cream,
without
though.
the ice cream. Okay, we'll move the ice cream off. But now, as Alana was saying,
Huh? Is that unbelievable?
What do you
Laura
think? What do you
Bell,
think?
you
Is that
should be
good?
proud of your son.
Mom, I love you.
Bye, Laura
love you,
Bell.
Laura
Bye,
Bell.
Curtis. Oh, it's
Hey,
just...
give me a hug.
You can get this
8 hugs a day.
recipe.
Remember that, George. 8 hugs a day.
8 hugs a
Come on,
day.
George, you get a
gotta
hug,
get 8
too.
hugs a
You
day.
can get this recipe and more from his new cookbook, Curtis Cooks with Heart and Soul. We'll be right back. Oh, yes. This is so good.
For more information about today's show, or if you'd like Curtis Aikens' recipe for pecan pie, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to The George and Alana Show, P.O. Box 310, Hollywood, California, 90028.
He is a nationally known chef who has become an outspoken supporter of literacy programs. Now, why would a chef care about reading? We meet a very special man, Chef Curtis Aikens.
Oh, thank you, Angela. Thank you. The pleasure is mine to meeting you.
I tell you,
I'm in the Crescent City and very happy about it, by the
well,
way.
you are in food world.
Ooh.
You know that.
Ooh, I'm going to be at Emerald's tonight. So
Oh,
ready to eat. Ready to eat.
let me tell you, plan all of your feedings, as I call it.
Is that-
if
oh,
you're going to
okay.
be here 3 days and plan 9 meals.
Oh, ooh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
This is such an incredible story. This man is a very successful chef. He has his own television show. It is on the Food Network.
Network, correct.
He has this third book or fourth book?
Third.
But the real story behind this man is that he did not know how to read or write
Correct.
until he was 26 years old.
Yeah.
Didn't know how to read or write until he was 26, and yet graduated from high school, went to college,
Right.
and never knew how to read or write.
Never knew how to read or write. And, I mean, that's what it's all about for me, Angela, is getting out, telling this story so that grown-ups first, if they see that I've learned to read, anything they want to do is possible. I mean, grown-ups who can't read, who have reading problems. And there are millions of Americans out here that have this problem and have been too ashamed or afraid to ask for help, because I was one of those people for 26 years. And it was a literacy commercial that I saw, a PSA on television, that kind of turned the lights on for me and said, look, you don't have to be ashamed or embarrassed. Call up and get help. That's why today you never hear me knocking television. I mean, this business takes a bad rap a lot of times, but our medium that you and I both make our living in can do some wonderful things.
Yes,
and
it can.
Yeah, oh, it's just an incredible medium.
Can. Yeah.
And
it's nice to hear somebody else say that. I want to go back, though. Here you are in the 4th grade.
Correct.
And in the 4th grade, you've already learned, and we're supposed to be starting to learn cursive writing.
Other kids had, I hadn't. For me, I knew I was in trouble in the 3rd grade. The 1st and 2nd grades for me was in a school that was under-equipped. The teachers weren't as prepared, and I did not get the foundation.
This was in Georgia?
This was in Georgia, Conyers, Georgia, about 20 miles east of Atlanta. I still call that home, although I physically live in California. My heart, I'm a Southerner. I love the South. I love being here. Wish I could bring my boys up in the same town I was brought up in, but that's not going to happen, so, you know, we'll just keep moving. But this school, it was it was an all-black school at the time, and that's not to say it's a bad school, not to say there were bad teachers. I just happened to, I guess, get the ones that just weren't into the job. Because some wonderful people have come through this school. My sister, who was at J.P. Carr Elementary to J.P. Carr High School till like 9th grade. She's a registered nurse, wonderful woman. E.R. Shipp, who is one of the country's leading authors. She works for the New York Times, was a daily editor for the New York Times. She went through this school system until about the 9th grade. But Curtis Aikens didn't get a foundation that my sister and other family members did.
But to go from, all of a sudden you say in the 3rd grade you knew you were kind of in trouble.
Well, so we switched schools.
Okay.
3rd grade went from this school to another school that was better equipped. The teachers were into what they were doing. And I had a great 3rd grade year, I thought. At the end of the year, my teacher, Mrs. Harper, called my mom in for this meeting, and she says, Mrs. Aikens, well, I just loved having Curtis in class. We've had a wonderful time. But, you know, when I heard her say but, I thought, oh, no, what have I done? You know, because all this bragging, my ego, I'm just getting inflated. And then she says, but he's behind. And I think he should repeat the 3rd grade to catch up. Now, what I heard as a little kid was, he's dumb, he's stupid, his punishment is to repeat the 3rd grade. So what I did, this was in the 3rd grade, and I remember this like it was yesterday, Angela, I said, no one's ever going to call me dumb or stupid again. No one's going to ever know I can't read. So I started a cover-up. Now, I repeated the 3rd grade, and so instead of, something happened. Like when I said I should repeat the 3rd grade, I think the teacher, Mrs. Harper, should have contacted the next teacher, excuse me, Mrs. Redding, and said, look, Curtis is behind in reading. We need to get him more equipped with his reading skills. I don't think that happened, looking back as a grown-up, because, well, Mrs. Redding was a new teacher into the school system the year she came in, and they didn't know each other, whatever. So in my 2nd time in 3rd grade, I cheated, I tricked, I did everything I could to keep from having to read out loud.
So by the time you're in the 7th grade, you were light years behind.
Oh, I was so skilled at getting out of reading that, yeah, I was totally light years behind.
People are sitting there, people at home, and say, well, how did he get through a test? How did he, if there was an essay that had to be written?
The tricks of the trades, as we chefs sometimes say. I mean, a lot of my tricks. One, first trick I really learned in 3rd grade was, I knew I had 2 things going for me, Angela. I could remember stuff, which was always puzzling. No matter what you told me, I remembered it. So I always thought, well, why can't I remember how to read? You know, you could tell me tons of stuff, and I could repeat it back verbatim. And I also had this likable personality. You know, people stuck to me like honey, you know? So I made those 2 things work for me. I remember I would sit in class when we have reading circle, the semicircle, I'd get in the middle of the circle. So we'd start reading, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, maybe the 5th person read, right? And then we'd stop and discuss the story. And Curtis is always the animated one, leading the discussion of the story. So Mrs. Redding said, well, he's reading along. Now, the next day, or when we come back to reading, I'd move past the person who hadn't read. I just got skipped over, you know? Now, on those times that Mrs. Redding said, look, you have to read, I would get sick or pretend to be sick, get excused from class.
No one ever caught on.
I don't know. I mean, I went back to talk to my high school a couple of years ago, and one of my teachers said, you know, I thought something. I said to her, well, why didn't you say something? Why didn't you call me? Why didn't you make it open for me to ask for reading help? And she felt pretty bad about it.
But
so.
all of a sudden, you're senior in high school.
Senior in high school.
You're a jock, too.
A jock.
Big
had a
football
job
player?
after school, very active in my church, in the community. I'm president of the Minority Student Association. I'm on the Student Body Council. So Curtis couldn't do any wrong, to be totally honest. I mean, I own the town.
But you, multiple choice questions. I mean,
piece of cake. No, I mean, I just guess. And if there was a benefit of doubt, because I was a good kid, you know, I got the positive doubt, right? Plus being a football player, plus getting a scholarship offered at Morris Brown, Southern University, where I ended up going to school. I mean, a lot of things happened in those days that, looking back, I don't know, I wouldn't change anything. I'm very blessed.
Okay, all of a sudden you're in college.
I'm in college.
And you said, okay, I got through high school without them knowing. Now I'm in another world. And even though I'm a jock and I'm a football player and they're all saying hallelujah, hallelujah,
right. So,
you still have teachers that are saying...
Well, college was different. And I want every student to have an opportunity to go to college. I really do. In fact, someday I'll go back. But for me, I was a football player first, and that was made evident because I remember asking for reading help. And it was pretty much said to me, you're a football player. And I was devastated. That's the reason I left school. I left Southern at the end of my freshman year and transferred to the University of Georgia. So that's not to say that this happened just in predominantly African-American schools. I got into the University of Georgia easier than I got into Southern. And I was there for a semester. And it just got to be too much. Living the lie and dealing with all this stuff.
See, living the lie, and it isn't just in school. I mean, I still have a million questions. I mean, one, and your good personality, and you remembered in class, and you participated, you weren't sitting there like a lump, and they thought, well, he knows what he's talking about. But all of a sudden,
I mean, my whole life
how did
was
you
a
get
lie.
a driver's license? How did you drive down the street and it said stop?
There are always ways to get my driver's license. A very dear friend of our family is a police officer in Rockdale County, Georgia. He took me to take my driver's test. Now, this is how manipulative I was. I knew if he took me in uniform, now he didn't know I couldn't read. The police officer, the state patrol didn't know I couldn't read, but I knew if he took me, because he knew all the state patrol, they knew him, he treated me like a brother. In fact, we called each other brothers. I knew if he took me, I would pass the test, because I failed the test. I mean, I know I failed the test. I didn't get to see the written part, but I went for the driving part of the test, and I did something that's an automatic failure. I pulled in and backed out into a main thoroughfare. That's supposed to be an automatic failure. So I get back, and the guy, oh, here's your license. So and when I moved to California, it was just a matter of transferring driver's license.
See, and they're not doing any favors.
None at all.
Not doing you.
None at all.
You think they are.
Well, I knew they weren't, but I was just trying to get, I was getting a ways to an end, a means to an end. So my goal in life was to make sure no one found it. I remember going to high school from junior high. I mean, I went from elementary school into junior high, then into high school. And I remember the first day of high school, walking up to Rockdale County High School and looking up at the door and thinking, oh, God, 4 years more. I've got 4 more years to cover this thing up. How am I going to do it?
Did you ever think once, maybe if I just spill the beans to one person?
In college, I tried. I really tried. When I showed up at Southern for practice, late summer practice, I remember getting off the airplane, and it was so hot in Baton Rouge, and all those factories up there were smelling. I mean, oh, what's up? You know. So we had the first 2 weeks of practice. Then school registration started. And we got into school. And I remember going to a counselor, and I was really evasive about the fact that, look, I think I need some help with reading, but what can we do? And well, we can test you. And I thought, okay, this is a step. They're going to test me and see how lousy I read and make me learn to read. And it just...
You were the football player.
Yeah, it just didn't happen. I was so disillusioned. I mean, that's the school that Jesse Jackson went to, Mel Blount, all the wonderful people that had gone there. I just knew this is where I will learn to read. And it hurt.
Well,
I still get sad when I think about that. It just hurts.
We are going to take a break. We're going to come back because he doesn't have to be sad anymore because he did learn to read. And we're going to talk about that and all the books he's written.
Banana pudding. Ingredients are 2 to 3 pounds bananas, 1 box vanilla wafers, 1 cup sugar, 2 tablespoons flour, 2 eggs, 2 cups milk, 1 teaspoon vanilla flavor. Mom's back. I've asked her to come out and help me close out Video Cookbook. And also to thank her for teaching me to cook over the years. You're still my favorite chef, Mama. You help me, will you teach everyone how to make one of my favorite childhood dishes, banana pudding?
Yes, I will.
All right.
I'll be glad to.
Do it.
First, we have a teaspoon of sugar.
Cup of sugar.
A cup of sugar.
All right.
2 tablespoons of flour.
Okay.
I use self-rising flour.
Now we're mixing this on a cold burner, right?
We're mixing this on a cold burner. We'll put it on a hot burner, okay?
Okay.
And then we have to add 2 eggs.
Okay. You do that a lot better than I do as far as cracking
we'll
eggs.
Stir it up real good. We have to mix this up real good, Curtis.
Okay.
And then I will ask you to help me.
Sure.
Pour my milk in real slow.
Yeah, what do we got there? 2 cups, Mom?
Yeah, we got 2 cups of milk.
2 cups of milk. I love this dish as a child, Mom.
Real slow.
How's that? Is that slow enough?
Let's stop.
Stop. Remember when I was growing up, Jeffrey and Eddie and I, how we loved banana pudding on Sunday with fried chicken. Now that Cajun fried chicken that we did a little earlier, I think you're gonna love banana pudding with this one.
Okay.
A little more?
Yeah.
Is that too fast?
No, it's not too fast. It's
so
just fine.
So at home, they need to remember to add the milk slowly, right?
Slowly.
Okay.
Because you don't want it to lump. See, when you're making a boiled custard, this custard is good with just plain pound cake.
Oh, really? You, instead of just putting all the banana, we can do it?
Little Mom would make muffins.
Okay.
For us,
with
too.
this custard? Hey, you got to say that for the next video, Mama. Don't give them everything now.
No, we won't.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll come back and make
Curtis,
this on
I think
time.
we'll stop there. That's enough.
That's enough milk? Okay.
Now we'll move it over to the hot eye.
Hot burner. Okay.
And we'll let it come to a good boil.
Okay.
And as it boils, it'll thicken up. We don't want to keep it stirred because we don't want to burn it. And I would like for you to put me 1 teaspoon of vanilla in
1
there.
teaspoon. And
Yes.
Mama makes me measure this out. Now, if I was doing it, you know, I wouldn't measure, but I like the Louisiana style. 1 teaspoon,
1 teaspoon
of vanilla flavor.
Now, when this cooks, when it finishes boiling, it'll take about 5 minutes. So what we're going to do, after this thickening up, it boils, and then thickening make a good custard, we'll pour it over our bananas and vanilla wafers.
Okay.
We'll use a layer of wafers and a layer of bananas. And we'll pour this over there and put it in the refrigerator until we get ready to serve it.
Okay.
Yeah. And that makes about 6 servings, causing how much banana pudding people like.
Mama, this brings back memories from my childhood.
Yes. Curtis, I already have a finish.
Okay. Why don't I get that while you finish
Put it
that
over there,
one?
okay? If you'll get it, we'll show it.
Do we want to pour that over, or you just want to?
No, we just want to show this one.
Okay.
Will it be all right to just show it here?
Sure.
There's our finished product.
Mom, that brings back so many memories from childhood. Thank you again for being part of Video Cookbook, huh? How about a hug? How about a hug, Mom?
Oh.
Can I get a hug? Thanks, Mom.
Thank you, Curtis. I've really enjoyed it.
Oh, so have I. It's been a great day.
We've been on this Video Cookbook for about a year now, huh?
Yeah, we finally got it finished up. I hope you not only learned some good recipes from Mom and I, but also some nice produce tips and help you with storing fresh fruits and vegetables. Thanks for watching.